forget about networking. They look at networking outwardly, like what they're gonna say or do to a person to impress them. But I think the best way that you can impress a person, particularly from the beginning, is by showing them how much you respect yourself. And so that starts at the very baseline of everything that we generally talk about in this space, which is getting yourself in shape, respecting your body, and respecting your appearance. Image is very important in networking because you're training someone else on how to treat you and evaluate you based off the way you treat and love yourself. So if you take care of your body, it shows that you take yourself seriously, so much so that you take care of yourself on a very high level. Then from there, how you dress yourself personifies outwardly the way that you respect yourself. So having nice clothes to wear, being groomed correctly, being clean in your appearance is very, very important. And when it comes to networking, that's going to be the first thing that people see. And as you know, and most people know, it's a very common thing that is said, is you cannot redo a first impression. From there, you can go from your presentation of yourself and how you show love to yourself, which other people feel the need to match just naturally. Because a lot of people are way more insecure than you believe. Every person has insecurities, even a billionaire. So if you walk onto a boat and you stand up straight and you're in good shape and you've dressed well, then he's automatically going to think this person obviously knows something about himself that allows him to personify a higher level of themselves as an individual. So when I walk into a room and I'm standing tall and my chest is out and I'm slim and I'm in good shape and I'm dressed well, it tells other people that I respect myself enough to care for myself and that I think I'm valuable enough to dress this way, to walk in a room this way. So that's the first thing. It comes from you. Your ability to look a man in the eye and shake his hand with a firm handshake and keep eye contact. A lot of guys you'll talk to, I talk to guys all the time, especially like if I get stopped for a photo or something like that, sometimes I notice that they can't look me in the eyes for very long, or they want to look down. When you believe in yourself, when you're confident, when you're not a snake, when you know who you are, when you're truly there locked in with a person, you keep eye contact. Now it's not the weird kind of like never blinking, but you're there with them and you're able to keep eye contact. I think that's very important to build trust, because most of the time if somebody can't keep eye contact with you, there's something aloof in the situation. So keeping eye contact is very important. One thing I also like to do when it comes to somebody of really high net worth is to just treat them like a person. If you can forget about the amount of money they make, if you can forget about who they supposedly are and just treat them like a normal human being and not put them on such as high pedestal, then you, unlike most people that do put them on a high pedestal, are training them to believe that you are some way peers on some level. Even if they know that you're not at the same status or financial position as they are, if you can look them in the eye, you're letting them know that you're well on your way and that you deserve to be in that group of people that are looked at in the way that that individual is looked at. So when I meet very, very high level people, or people that have done more in their life than I have, for example, I make a very purposeful, intentional point to treat them like a normal person, like we're friends, not like I'm putting them on some pedestal. You do it respectfully, but you do it in a way that lets them know that you can be present with them and that the event of meeting them is not too large for you. And that's very, very important, particularly when I meet famous people all the time. They are people. They put their pants on like me, and whether they're ahead of me or behind me, or we're at the same place, it doesn't matter, because you have to treat them like a peer, and that trains them to understand that you deserve to be in that room speaking to them. When it comes to them outwardly, I like to almost interview them. I want to know everything about them, and I listen very, very intently to the words they're saying. I like to ask them about their story. I like to compliment them on things that they worked hard at, and I like to continue to dig into the things that make them who they are. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm on a yacht with a guy and I'm like, I love your yacht, it's beautiful. How did you make the money? Or what business? How did you get into it? How did you find yourself here? I'll sit there with that man for an hour and not say a thing back to him about the wonderful things that I've done in my life. I'll make it completely about him, hearing his story. I'll stop him. I'm like, wait. So you got there, but before you got there, what was this, and this to get you in this position? I missed that. Like, I don't understand how you went from point A to point B. And then they backtrack, and then the story goes deeper. And then it often leads into what their struggles were, how they went through trials and tribulations in their business. It humanizes them in a way that allows you to have a personal moment with them inside of a struggle. And you can say, hey, I understand where you're coming from. I've had things like that happen too. What did you do about this? Then you can start digging into questions on how you can learn from them. So you're letting them take you on this path of journey of the person that they become, which, by the way, people love at all levels of life. Talk about themselves. Make it about them. Be genuinely interested, not just because you're trying to get somewhere with that person, because you're genuinely genuinely trying to get to know them. And that's how a bond happens. And so if you can go from the small talk subjects of, hey, how was your day? Nice boat. Oh, isn't it pretty outside? To tell me about how you got here. Wait, back up. Tell me how you got started. I know that you had this business, you exited it for 100 million. That's great. But tell me about how you built it. What were your trials? How old were you? What did you run into? How'd you get the loan from the bank? Who's your main employee that you had to win over in order to get your business in a position to really go the moon? How'd you scale? Did you ever almost lose it? What were the things? Give me the struggles in that. And that's when a conversation can get intimate. And if you can make a conversation intimate and you can find the things that they went through, then you can actually give them a compliment, a real compliment on something that they worked hard to achieve. I often say about compliments is you should never give somebody a compliment on something that was given to them naturally. You should give it to them on something that they built themselves around, something that they had to strive for to actually earn, to be in a position to earn the compliment. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're talking to a beautiful woman. She was probably born naturally beautiful, but if she works out and she's built her body up and her legs and her butt and everything about it, like she's in really good physical condition, she had to work for that. Instead of just saying, oh, you're beautiful, I would say to her, hey, I can tell you work really, really hard on your body and your physique and taking care of yourself. That's really cool. Good for you. Congratulations. Not hitting on her, giving her a genuine compliment like I'd give just another guy and another human. So I think it's really important to remember those things about everybody, no matter where they are in life, is that if you can treat them like a regular human being, give them genuine compliments and try to genuinely get to know them, not just for their victories, but for their struggles along the way, you'll go quite far with somebody in just a few hours if you need to. And when it comes to networking, I think that's one of the best things you can possibly do.